Hell yeah, man. I mean, I definitely was a very passionate football, no, not only player, but also a fan as well. I was a huge
Yeah.
football, and Australian football. I mean, like,
The best
football to an
kind?
Australian can mean soccer, it can mean rugby, it can mean Aussie rules, and I do mean Aussie rules when I say that as a South Australian.
Could mean rugby
That is
union,
what
could
football
mean
means here.
rugby league.
Exactly, yeah.
There's
In
three
South
different.
Australia, it
Yeah.
means Aussie rules. But I lost passion to go to live games because of the crowds. Basically, like I was having a bad time at the crowds.
Some of them get a bit
Live
crazy.
football.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just
That's
like,
where you got to get rich. You got to get in those box seats and shit. And you're like
yeah,
getting
see,
fed like ribs and fancy liquor and shit. And you're sitting there like, I'm better than you people.
my old man was definitely one of those people. He had like a proper membership with the stadium where he'd have like
Oh,
a corporate
nice.
box and had fucking lobsters and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
While
You're in
watching
the game,
football.
by the way, right?
I am, yes.
Cool.
No Discord will be shared. No screen shares today.
We're gonna make it
I'm on it, man.
a whole stream. Yeah,
A
yeah,
whole stream with that Discord share, yeah.
My man.
But yeah, to finish my point, like I kind of I've always been about like sportsmanship. Always shake your opponent's hand when you lose. Always congratulate the team when they win. Don't take things personally. It's sport. It's competition. La la. La. And people in the crowd were just so fucking stupid and so ham. I was just such a negative vibe, and I was all about having good vibes in my life at the time.
People get very feral. Yeah, people get way too tribalistic with it. Like I remember when I was younger, like when you think you're really smart as a teenager and you have these like thoughts and you think it's like you just thought of something for the first time because you're arrogant enough to not realize that a million people have had the same thought and you think you're really profound. I remember having this very profound thought where I was like, has sport replaced war in the modern culture where people need this instinctive urge to get really tribalistic and to jeer against the other or the enemy and to like really take happiness and bonding in their clan and tribe over the other clan and tribe and like go to war with them and compete with them? And is this like our modern way of getting that urge out, in a non-violent form without murdering each other like we did for the previous, million years or however long humans have existed for? And I'm like, you know what, young philosopher pig, yeah, you're not completely wrong. You're not completely wrong. Like, I do feel there's an element where people just need to go feral and be like, the other side is not human, and all we care about is winning. There's like this weird animalistic thing.
On the other team.
Exactly.
It's so weird, man. Yeah, like I would just be wearing like a scarf for my team because I was a Port Power fan, right? Oh, I still am, but I still have a membership there. And I'd wear like a Port scarf and I'd go to the game and I'd just be crossing the street and people in the street would just be like, "You fucking Port Feral, fuck you!" And I'm like, "Oh my God,
yeah.
All I'm doing is crossing the street and going to the stadium right now.
Oh my God,
I have done nothing to you. What is your problem, mate?" I don't know. Maybe I'm sensitive. Some those same people would tell me to harden the fuck up. It's all just sport, and I was like, eh.
Yeah, no. Those are the same people. Like growing up playing sport, there was always the people who would always try to just cheat constantly. They'd always try to punch you in the dick when the ref's not looking. They'd always try to trip you over. And there's like an accepted amount of jostling and stuff, especially like AFL, I think is one of the best, where it's like you're meant to be able to jostle each other and do all sorts of things, but there's like lines that don't get crossed, right? Or you get in big trouble, right? If you get caught punching someone, you get fucked, right? At least in professional footy. I don't know how it was for you growing up. I'm sure that was your fair your fair share. Hopefully, yeah.
Amateur football, like whatever I'm talking about, professional football, amateur football, at times it by 100.
Yep, I can imagine.
Like we had a fullback get KO'd by a full beer can from the crowd.
No. Oh my God.
They actually go to hospital for concussion and knocked out on his ass by a full West End can from the crowd.
Oh my God.
That is amateur league football right there. But just to talk about StarCraft, I'm sorry guys, we're back on the StarCraft now. But,
we'll continue the footy discussion in a sec. After the game.
Clem did get a drone with that first Reaper, which is a dream scenario for Terran. The Speedlings are out, but the Hellions are here to keep that Reaper alive.
Yeah.
And yeah, this is a Cloak Banshee opener with a very quick Roach Warren from Armani. But Clem knows that Korean Zergs are generally Roach boys. So this Banshee makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, they usually are Roach boys. And the Banshee in general, I mean, I was talking about how I think it's so average and so easy to get counted. And, Lays was like, no, it's the best thing ever. You cannot lose the Banshees. Like, that's what he really had on me. He was like, I was like, okay, I get it. He's like, as long as you keep it alive to clear creep from the edges, to deny counterattacks, it is huge for shutting down little Ling run bys and Ling backstabs. And just for coming in at all the other moments of pressure. The next time your Hellions go in, those 2 Banshees come in, pick off a few drones. When the double medevac comes, if those Banshees are still alive, they rock up, kill a bunch of drones. And it's kind of like thinking about the Banshee the way you think about the Oracle in PvZ, where it's like, it's not about its first wave. It's about it staying alive and recycling and adding value and adding threat for the rest of the game.
These Lings are trying to DPS down that third base. Some Hellions come home. Actually, all the Hellions of Clem come home to get rid of these Lings.
Yeah, so going to try and cut a few off on the retreat. Armani there, a bit of a cheeky move. If you get that cancel, it really screws up their build. And this is so well done because the Roaches have hidden themselves on the southern side. Clem has no idea about this right now. And seeing that worker line look a little undersaturated, does he realize, nope, alarm bells did not ring. There's a second Banshee at home, but his first Banshee is still at the wrong side of the map.
And it feels like trying to plug a leak in a ship with your thumb, though. It's... He needs all the DPS he can get to ship.
Wait, bunker on the low ground? No way. Get out of there, dude.
No, Clem, come on.
Come on, buddy.
Come on, mate. That's all.
The command center.
Armani. It's so close.
The SCVs. Oh, he's got it. He's got it. The SCV gets on it. Nicely done. Nicely done. CC does finish. How the hell? Clem.
How's Clem not dead?
I mean, okay, there wasn't as big a Ling reinforce, and he actually interrupted a lot of the Lings making their way across the map. They were trying to reinforce with their Hellions, which was really well done. But I thought he would lose more than this. 14 SCVs keeps his command center alive. I mean, it's not great for Clem, but it might just be acceptable losses.
I feel like, 3CC, whenever you survive with 3CC and you kind of have mineral mining, I feel as Terran, you're like, no, I'm good. I've got 2 Banshees still alive. He wants to send in more Roaches. I'm more than happy to kill those very easily. Armani is droning up behind this. His worker count is definitely way ahead of Clem's. But that's just it. He's teching up right now, which will give a time for Terran with their triple orbital to, mule and actually get that income looking a lot more solid, at least having a spike of income that will marry up with the Zerg for the most part. So he mules the third immediately. He spent all of his energy on the orbitals on mules. And he still has a decent army, which is generally where the Terran has their strength. They usually have a bigger army than the Zerg at this point in the game.
Yeah, these Banshees dancing around, still finding some value here. Only 39 SCVs behind it, so he's really got to keep hitting that. He actually snipes the drone that was going to branch off to take the 4th base. Yeah, that's actually pretty sick. And there's no queen in the main. Oh, Armani done goofed. He's got every queen in the same control group. Guys, shout out to the in-depth episode where they were showing off the Korean way of having every queen on the same control group, the way Dark does it. And we can see here why that's a really bad idea. The Banshees go to the main.
Champion, but Armani is not. It's not 16 drones.
It's okay to do when you're under heavy pressure at the front. But when you're dealing with harassment, it is simply suboptimal. You've got to split queens off those control groups and leave them guarding the bases, or else you've got nothing to add extra ranged anti-air from behind the spore crawlers. And that is the hill I will die on. So I love Dark, and I think he's one of the best players in the world. I don't think we should all be copying his techniques. Not that I think Scarlet was saying we necessarily should. It's just definitely a funny thing there. If you get lazy, if you've been up all night, and it's 11 a.m. in Korea right now, you want to make sure you remember to split those queens up. Don't just move them around in one big blob, or the Banshee's going to take advantage. And I mean, that's 21 workers killed for Clem. It's more than the 17 SCVs that went down. That's pretty sick for the Terran.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, the economy of the Terran is actually, I would even argue, better than the Zergs. He's still, until that 4th hatchery's up and another big line of drones comes out of Armani, Clem's economy, his mining is actually, I mean, we look at the mineral income right now, very, very, very close. And he's got enough gas to keep in that 2-2 for the bio. Tank production's also in here. Widowmine dropping the natural. Drone split, though, from Armani. Pretty decent.
Widowmine doing what Widowmines do best.
No. Oh! The drones come home a little bit too early there.
Was not that just... That was Widowmines incorporated. That was the most typical Widowmine moment. One Widowmine killed the medevac, did nothing else, and the other one got a massive hit. It's like the dichotomy of the Widowmine.
The dual faces of the Widowmines. Two-Face from the Batman universe.
Oh, yes.
If there was a Batman universe and StarCraft units were like a Batman villain, Widowmines are definitely Two-Face.
Yes. Oh man, it's so funny because people get, but that's the thing about Widow Mines. Facing them, using them, you just can't ever be looking at it and going, this has to kill that for my strategy to work. It's like you just create a lot of situations where they can fire, and over time, on average, a mixture of good and bad shit happens, and hopefully more good shit than bad shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's a big ball of Marines here. Armani obviously has a big army supply, and he's going to try and get onto this tank line. He does force the bio away from the tanks on the left side. Clem just started stepping to the north and to the south, bringing in Banshees as well.
Yeah.
Just a little bit too light on that firepower to actually win that fight, though.
Beautiful 1-1 timing attack. He has not started 2-2. He's on 57 workers. He's heavily committed. This is shades of impact right now that Armani is going for, but it's just not enough. The Banshee's just picking them off. Those two tanks got a few really powerful volleys, and this is similar to that series we came in earlier. We saw Clem up against Zealot Phoenix from Nice, a situation where the Terran really should just be hiding behind a wall and trying to survive. And Clem seems to almost always go out in the middle of the map and just beat these armies in the map, or at least slow them down in a not terrible engage. And it's like, wait, you're meant to be camping at home defending. And Clem's like, I always go out and fight. Like, you know, this is why we love watching Clem. He's a very aggressive player. But at the same time, he's got to pull those SCVs in here at some point. If he loses his core of Marines, he goes down. The Banshee's gone, which means that's not going to be around, but he just has enough 2-2 Marines with 2-2 versus 1-1. 6 medevacs, still having some energy left. It looks like he barely has enough. He really should have pulled SCVs by now. But you know what? Clem apparently is happy to dance on the knife's edge and just barely hold. He could have lost 25, 30 SCVs and still been ahead in that game because he has a 2 upgrade advantage, 3 orbitals versus a terrible Zerg economy. But Clem apparently, he knows when he's safe, and all hats off to him. He's got better game sense than me.
Should have pulled SCVs, but at the same time, the victory screen has a Terran logo and says Liquid Clem underneath it. So that the damage was done. I mean, that game was just pure Korean ZVT to me. The roach timing. Like, even without that drone damage, guarantee you that was what Armani wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
They really love that. And Clem knows it better than most of us. You know, he's like, okay, I'm not going to make marauders because I really want that extra bit of gas. But I am going to have tanks. I am going to bunker up. And I am going to make sure that my 2-2 is sharp to have a big ball of bio and just a trade. Because the roach boy will always have, you know, maybe 50 to 70 more army supply than you. But it's that inefficient army against Marine tank. So it really depends about where that fight happens and how it happens. Like, is the Terran leaving their tanks exposed? Is there Banshees involved or not? The Banshees actually played a big part of Clem's game there.
Indeed, a perfect play. He goes up 1 game here against Armani. We're going to map 2 on Eternal Empire. It is loading up. I want to say, guys, a quick shout out. Me and Maynarde love bringing this to you guys every week. We do not get paid by ESL, but we have had a lot of generous support. So we want to say a big thank you to everybody who's been able to do that. We also know a lot of people going through hardship right now. Some people are like, hey, my business is booming, but I think more people than not are either stuck at home and dealing with the madness of being locked in their homes with themselves. Oof, none of us want to go through that hardship, but we all are right now. Other ones are not able to work at all if they're in the service or the hospitality industry. Lots of people being, you know, forced to leave and this sort of shit. So I want to say, if you guys do need to unsub, at least to my channel, and I know Maynard has echoed the same sentiment before, don't worry about it. You can resub whenever you have the means. We do not mind. We want you guys to take care of yourselves first and foremost. This is one big family, the StarCraft community, and we might not be as big as other games. We might not have as many, you know, kids and crazy viral stuff and news articles and all that sort of stuff, but we have one of the most hardcore gaming communities out there, one of the best esports, one of the best competitive games that you don't need to be on the ladder every day. You can still watch it and enjoy. We've got tons of people here who don't actually play the ladder very often, but they might play a bit of co-op. They might watch the pro tournaments, and we want to say you're all part of this family. If you can't support financially, please do click the follow button, click the little bell so you get those little notifications when we go live. And
smash that bell.
Smash the bell. Smash it. And just show some love. Take a clip of any funny or epic moment. You see a cool fight, clip it. Share it in chat. Share it in the Discords and that sort of stuff. And we just want to say a big thanks to all of those who have clicked that Twitch Prime button. If you do have Amazon Prime, you can link it to your Twitch and you get to give away 1 free sub a month, which literally gives us money straight out of Bezos's very, very large pocket. So dip your fingers in there. Stick them in honey before so you get a few extra coins.
Hand in Bezos's pocket and see what you can hold on to.
Share those Twitch Prime subs. Thank you everybody who's gone above and beyond. We've had some cheers, we've had some tips, we've had some subs. Everybody, thank you very much for joining the main army. Thank you very much for coming into the pigsty. And yeah, we appreciate it. We're going to continue this series now, and the finals is up next, of course. So stay excited.
Yeah. Yeah, if you unsub from Pig, that's completely fine. If you unsub from me, though, you're a dickhead.
Indeed. I mean, I basically, I had to like sit there for like an hour. I was like, you're going to tell people to unsub? Is that the strategy, Pig? Tell them they're fucking pieces of shit if they don't give you money.
Of course, echo Pig sentiments. Look after yourselves, guys. One of my best mates is a chef, and he's completely out of work right now. Feels bad, man.
Yeah, it's pretty shit.
He's my housemate.
Oh, that's rough, man.
Clem's going for the NGB block again. Seems to be the hot strats here for Clem. I can see Reyna hates the SCV scout.
Yeah. Goes for it really early. So I kept talking about how people just run 4 Lings across the map while the drone goes over there and beats the SCV in a fight, and the Reaper is kind of screwed. But this is the variation. 2 Reapers plus a really early eBay block, and Armani's like, oh, fudgety. You know, the Queen's going out like, I'll push this Reaper off and slowly keep my third. And now the Queen's like, oh, God, I'm actually deep in the orange. I'm losing Zerglings right now. I don't even have any creep spread. This is really an awesome start for Clem.
The Queen will actually die to the Reapers if Armani doesn't control it well. Another Reaper pops out. That's a healthy looking sister right there. So the hurt one's going to go back to inject duties while the healthy one's on the front line actually fighting back the Reapers. Clem just getting more more Reapers rather, getting more Lings. So just paying that Reaper tax. God, that's a long walk for these Queens. And that NGV's got so many hit points. The third's been delayed by a full minute.
Oh my God, I love that. Clem's like 10 speedlings. Yeah, I'm gonna walk towards that with these Reapers. I like the way Roddy was describing Clem this week. He's like, well, you know, he likes to fight. He has a bit of an addiction to attacking. Clem basically never stops attacking all game, no matter what happens. Impressive how well Innovation took a punch in their TVT series. I was like, wow, Clem's walking in circles around in this third map, and just started locking everything down, and Clem started throwing armies away, trying to siege 3 locations and drop the main at the same time. And was like, his Ravens just worked overtime, and he was like the Clem cleanup police. And it was one of the first times I've seen Clem's aggression fall flat like that after having some early momentum. But usually against most players, they cannot do that. That was a rare Innovation special, and we can see Armani really struggling here.
I think Armani might be going for Mutmuts this game. Potentially. Actually, he's getting the Bailey Nest, so maybe just like a Loddling Bane. That's something Korean Zergs like to do.
Yeah, definitely seems like it could be. Bio upgrades are on the way here for Clem. I like this Pervalord on the right-hand side. He's going to come in and confirm the bio. Sees Cloak, sees the extra barracks going down, and very quick Spire. Yeah, so Zerglings here as well. No actual Banelings just yet, but only 2 Queens up front. I mean, they got to transfuse each. That's a lot of Hellions and Reapers, and with a good bouncy grenade, I feel like the Reaper Hellion might even be able to fight there. He scans, he sees the Spire. Banshee comes in, grabs 3 workers. This is just some really nice pressure from Clem, who I think is just going to go into lockdown against the Mutas in the next minute or so.
Yeah, it's just textbook. That scan was beautifully timed as well. The Spire, if that's something you're not prepared for, a lot of people obviously know this. It's a little bit dumb to say, but for anyone that isn't aware, the Sky's tech can actually just straight up kill you as a Terran. Like, it's straight up. If you don't have a turret, you don't have bio in the right spot, you are just going to die to the Mutmuts. And the Reaper Hellion quotient here at the front is still pulling Queens off. I think they can actually win that fight against those 2 Queens, even with the transfusions, but Clem just making sure he has map control. He doesn't want to throw anything away for free.
Well, if you give that up, right? If the Lings are able to engage you, and suddenly the creep spreads like crazy, and you already know that once Mutas are out, they're going to have uninterrupted creep spread. They also have the chance of doing a 45-50 drone Lingbane Muta all in, where they just attack with like massive Bane burst, Mutas coming in snipe tanks and shit. You just get overwhelmed because you're kind of going 2-2, you're going for a second factory. Like you don't quite have that big ball of bio up yet. And Mutiling Bane can do a very powerful burst. So keeping the Hellions alive counters that Ling Bane. As long as you've got 6 Hellions that can just micro back, like up into your main, behind your buildings, behind your mineral line, you're always going to be able to do some nice jobs with that. So I actually really love the preservation of the Hellions, knowing that as long as they stay alive all game, they're going to add power to the composition. They're going to counter the Zergling Baneling. They're going to make it a lot easier for Clem to secure this third base, and only now starting turrets at the last minute. Clem, you are a god.
Yeah, I mean, normally you would be like, you know, at the lower levels, never cutting any corners. You're just like, I want to be super, super safe against this, super safe against that. But Clem knows to the second when those meters are going to arrive. The turret is up. SCVs can be pulled to repair. That Widow Mine from the... Oh, I didn't even see it behind the refinery. There's 2 Widow Mines softening up all those meters. Damn. Clem is just... He's actually in a really good spot economically as well, because there's a... I mean, when you go for a fast Aspire and 2 base, your third base not even done yet, you don't really have that many drones.
Yeah.
So, you know, Armani's making a ton of units right now. He's getting upgrades to the meters, so obviously committing pretty heavily to this tech.
I guess drilling claws will be a bit delayed, which is like the one thing, but
yeah,
I don't know if it matters. Like Clem's already got a good bio mine force coming out here. The Mutas pick off an SCV, they set the refinery on fire, but Armani's been very greedy behind this. Now he's got Bane speed, but his 1-1's not ready, so there's a double upgrade advantage. Widow Mines, Marines, Reapers, just absolutely unafraid push here for Clem, who I think now that he's kind of set up, I think he should be very chill. I think do not go any deeper. The Widow Mines looking for some big hits. Already one of them set off. Another one sets off. Doesn't really hit a lot. Ooh, good dodgies by Armani.
Yeah, really nice jukes there. He does get a couple Banelings in the end for that last Widow Mine, and all these Widow Mines are on cooldown, so the Marines need to dance way off creep here. Don't want to go too deep. The 4th hatchery is going to get up. No force cancel there from Clem. He's got
Here come the Hellions.
Armani with a drag.
Ooh, does hit the medevac, and the Mutas finish it off. The Hellbats are here, though, now. And he's able to bring everything across. So what Clem's done is he's bought enough time to really pin Armani's whole army and focus here. He knows there's nothing reinforcing, and he's rallying across this map. The Hellbats spread out. A few Banelings go down. The Mutas pick off one. There's only one Hellbat left, but the Marines, I mean, these are Clem Marines, and they just click on the Banelings. Beyond style, does not care. 4 more Banelings. Can he get him? Can he get him? No, he's got to get off creep. Oh, no, the stim ran out.
Yeah, Stim ran out, and Armani also on that cleanup as he rushed through, cleaned up a couple Widow Mines as well, so they didn't get to fire off at all. So Armani is still holding on. He's making a ton of drones, or rather a ton of Lings right now, as Clem actually has a really lovely economy back at home. He's got a 4th base on the way. It's just finished now. He's going to be able to send that out. He's just not missing a beat with his macro back at home while pressuring the Zerg. Really, really beautiful stuff from Clem, who I would say is in a pretty great spot, especially with 2-2 on the way.
Armani is hanging on like a champ, though, as well. I mean, hats off to him. He's starting 2-2 now, so there was a big delay on the 2-2 of Clem. Everything else did not miss a beat, but he lost quite a few units, not the most efficiently. Just a real small link counter, and oh no, the upgrades, repair. He's going to lose +2 armor, I think. Got to click the SCVs. Well done.
Mass repair is good here. Clem just keeping onto it. The Mutas trading with those Marines. They might still be able to get it if they get through the Marines. No, Clem bringing everything else here to the fight.
Still a good fight, though.
SCVs. Yeah.
Nice fight there for Armani. Look, if he can spread the creep while continuing to do this sort of move, like it really gives him a chance. Remember, he actually has Overlord speed, so he desperately needs to get an Overseer with these Mutas. Like there's these little things like that he hasn't really had a chance to do. He's trying to do these tiny little Ling backstabs. The Mutas are trying to dance. He's trying to spread creep on the front, but he can't hit everything perfectly. Like this is just too many things at once. So notice Clem still trying to maintain control over the Watchtower. He wants to start pushing again in the near future. Oh, friendly fire mine. Oh, God.
The Baneling's looking for the rest. The Mutas chasing down these medevacs as they boost away. Does Clem have any reinforcements? Looks like he has some next to this 4th base.
Lovely Widow Mine on the high ground. Just shut down 5 Banelings that were trying to run in on the top of the 3rd. So Clem here, he's got these little anti-backstab mines. Look at them. They're spread everywhere. Every path has a mine on it. So you can't just do free Zergling Baneling attacks. They're all going to be taxed. You need to micro every single one. And as Armani, if you want to keep backstabbing, you need to start bringing Overseers. You need to start spreading Zerglings in front of your push. All that demands a lot more APM. So Clem's forced it to this later stage. He's got 2-2. He's got Thors joining the fray. He's up to 13 Widow Mines. If he can start getting across to Armani's side of the map, he's going to set up some really brutal trades. Like at this supply, Zerg does not trade well versus Biomine.
You're quite right. We got some more mines here from Clem, and Armani is literally walking into a minefield. He pulls back just in time, though. Those 2 Widow Mines on the high ground would have been very deadly. A Baneling run by the 4th base. Clem
not enough.
back.
He repairs. He repaired in the midst of that. He pulled most SCVs away. 5 SCVs he started repairing because he knew that was not enough banelings, and that was a bad call by Armani. That was one of those real borderline cases where you're like, look, if every baneling hits at the same time, I'll barely kill it. But how often does that happen? There was a Widow Mine in front. The Planetary took some of them down. And that was a risky call. And I think Armani, he'd worked his way back into a decent spot. It was not a good situation, though, to throw that lead away.
And he's let himself trying to get 3-3 there with Clem. The Mutas being annoying. But they need to kind of be over here with the Banelings and the Lings here of Armani to hold on. Clem with a big fire force. The Widow Mine's in the front line.
Muta's doing a great job in the main base, though. They've managed to take out the turret. The Thor did not chase them back up there. Clem was too busy microing on the front, so those Mutas now fighting the Marines. Oof.
The Baneling section next really well there with a bio. Armani actually getting the cleanup here and forcing Clem off this side of the map. Godmani almost gets the turret in the third, but Clem does get the repair. Remember, he's got a 5th CC. He's still got 67 SCVs. But these trades, I mean, Armani here, his hive is so late, but Clem has just not quite been tight enough on the shutdowns and a little bit over-eager to push through creep. I think Clem has just had a bit of a sense of over-urgency, and now we've got an 85 drone Zerg stabilizing. 8 Mutas are out, 9 more buildings. So don't get me wrong, Armani's bank is being sunk into replacing these Mutas right now. The Baneling count is really low. So you look at this, you go, hey, he's up in supply. Yeah, he is. But it's not like he's making ultras yet. He hasn't started his 3-3 yet. He doesn't have 60 banelings just waiting, ready to jump into the field. So this is still a very close game. A 5-base Terran, a 5-base Zerg going up to 6 bases. Creep spread, though, is really what is making me look at this game as an Armani potentially favored situation right now. Oh, this Widow Mine. Oh my god! Widow Mine on the left side of the map just killed like 15 banelings.
Oh, Zerg players vomiting everywhere after looking at that one. That was a brutal hit there. Armani not watching his army as Mutas come in. They still have not been able to get the 3-3. They're going to take out the reacted factory. I really like that. Take out the reactor on the fact, just really dancing about. And while he pushes back the creep, he's going to start to do a drop. I like this. Clem trying to kind of force a little bit of APM on the other side, but he's so busy. His medevac does almost die. Barely gets a few Marines out. Those Mutas keep threatening those eBays, and Clem finally is like, F this, puts 3 Widow Mines next to them. So if those Mutas come back in, they will find a nasty surprise.
The drop is going to get cleaned up. Armani all over that one. Like a rash. Got him. Pulls off the Marines on his side of the map.
Burrowed Banes. Is that just those 2 on the right-hand side? I like this. Yeah, on the right-hand side near the watchtower, that path, there's 2 Burrowed Banes on the corner. Oh, another big Widow Mine hit. Takes out a bunch of Zerglings. They do pick it off. Those Mutas want to dive. Oh! Season. Big brain, quick hands, quick reaction there from Armani. This push coming down the right-hand side again. It's not a gigantic army. The Mutas do get shaved off a little. I think Clem needs to just sit off creep. He can't go too deep. He's got another army going down the left-hand side. I don't know if... Did the Burrowed Banes actually hit a lot of Marines? I know they've gone off. I just don't know what killed them.
I'm not too sure, man. We actually have 2 armies of Clem here on both sides of the map. I've been trying to keep up with the action. I'm actually like failing to observe here. I'm a bad observer, so...
Me too.
Oh, these Widow Mines. Armani, I think, might be getting a little bit impatient here. He's trying to go for the drag. That Widow Mine getting a lot of links to the front line. Widow Mine getting a few more bio units. This Widow Mine links there.
That last one hit a lot of Zerglings, but there's still so many Banes left over. The backstab's going to take out the Baneling Nest. That's a big snipe. New Baneling Nest is already building behind this. And finally, all the Banelings go down, running into that Marauder Widow Mine reinforce. I think Armani may have overextended there. I mean, just stuck here on Lingbane Muta for a little bit too long. His 3-3 and his Adrenal is not quite done. Remember, these fights, when they're at max, where there are that many Widow Mines, Marauders, and so on, they get worse and worse for Zerg. But you add a double upgrade advantage for Clem, and this is his point in the game. 4 more command centers finishing. He's floating them out. He's mass expanding in the midst of this. As I say that, the Adrenals kicked in. The 3-3 is almost done. Armani's by no means out of this yet, but his creep has been cut through. He is left with just a sad protrusion in the middle of the map. And, I think it's only a matter of time till Clem snips that one off as well.
He's only had 6 Banelings for about a minute or so as well. So as the Baneling Nest finishes, 32 more start, and that's looking a lot more convincing here for Armani. But it means that he hasn't been able to go across the map and like Baneling bust down a planetary or something like that. Like, you can't really bust a planetary at this point in the game with just Lings.
There are Burrowed Banes on the left-hand side. They are not getting a big pack of Marines. And, oh my god, double drop on the right. Oh, those Banes are just not finding anything. Clem's army keeps positioning around them. We are going to keep our eyes on those 2 Banelings. Armani actually has selected them a few times. The double drop on the right gets caught.
Yeah, it certainly does. After killing a hatchery, though, so It wasn't free for Armani, and Clem's situating through the middle of the map, clearing up a bunch of creep. The creep spread of the Zerg has been completely erased for the most part, though. Like, Armani only has creep just outside of his hatcheries.
Definitely gave him the snip in the middle of the map there on that creep, and it looks like his young creep seeding days are over for Armani as he's pushed back into his corner of the map, relegated a little bit. It's kind of unfortunate because even though he's got great worker count, great supply, I think the lack of creep makes it very hard, and those banelings get scanned.
Oh no. Banes get scanned. And this counterattack of Armani could be really, really nice. This planetary isn't quite situated just yet. That's a lot of banelings. This is going to go down, but how many banelings do we have left over?
Banelings take out
with the Mutalisks and the natural
planetary. They pull back. Banelings roll into this planetary, but they clicked on it. They're not clicked in the mineral line. Not enough again. Ooh, a little bit nasty there. Clem with the quick repair. He's pushing the front at the same time. This young Frenchman does not miss a beat. Who the hell gets hit in 3 bases at once and keeps pushing on the front at the same time? This guy, because he realizes if he can't micro 3 locations, neither can Armani. The mutas kind of fly into his army a little bit. And Clem, I mean, he gets a snipe on a base, but he does lose 2 command centers, 23 SCVs. We've still got a 93 drone Zerg. Now, that looks scary, but look at the income. Right now, it's actually not that high. There's this base in the bottom right. If it goes down, we have a very low income Zerg. That income is going to start dropping over the next minute. These mineral patches are all mining out.
That Thor save, 3 hit points, instantly shift queued into that medevac, saves it just in the nick of time there against his Mutalisks. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I would say 94 drones is actually too much in this situation. He's not mining enough. And he's not going to be able to max out on a giant army here. Can he make it happen with what he has right now? It's primarily tier 2 units. Clem pulling back to the high ground. The winner.
Oh my god, those Mutalisks. Holy shit. There's a lot of Mutalisk wives out there who were just made into widows. The Widow Mine making their goddamn name. That is actually insane. Don't go up a ramp into Widow Mine Marauder. There was already a lot of banelings blowing up on Marauders before that. It's where are the ultras? You know, where are the ultras? Where are the broodlords? We've never made it to that point. There's been too much momentum, too much tempo, and Clem here just all over the map, dancing all over, left, right, and center. The creep spread got pushed back. It was never able to replace Armani. 43 drones on one base. They're trying to find new mineral lines to mine from, but they cannot find it.
Yeah. These 91 drones left without a home, man. They are so oversaturated. The 4th base is super oversaturated. The 3rd is actually... Drones are just hugging a rock right now over at the 3rd base. Armani's just lost control of this game. He's lost control of his economy. And Clem is still on the precipice here of a 2-0 victory. Oh, he's going for that split of the Marines on creep. He doesn't even care. There's just not enough for Armani anymore. It's over.
Plus 2 mutas versus 3-3 Marines. Ouchie, ouch, ouch, ouch.
What a game.
GG, well played. A beautiful series there, quite decisive from Clem. As always, I do love to do a quick rewind. And specifically, I think there's one key moment where Armani did an amazing job to get back in that game. He won a series of engagements from behind, but I really bring it all back to the first baneling dive on that 4th base planetary of Clem. I think that was a really bad move where Armani gave up so much momentum. So I'm just rewinding to that point while we wait for, of course, the finals is TVT Clem vs. Soul.
Yep,
should be awesome. I think maybe I missed it. Maybe it was even earlier than this, in which case that's really crazy that he baneling rolled in at that moment. Oh my god, he actually did go in at like 10 minutes, didn't he? Psycho. Psycho groupie cocaine crazy. Psycho groupie coke makes you high, makes you really...
That's one of my favorite songs of all time, by the way.
I'm sorry for butchering it. It is a great song. I love that song. Whenever I say Psycho more than once, I that song always ends up just jumping into my head. Such
so many times that I've actually like made my throat go raw from screaming along to that song in my car during a long drive.
System of a Down is like, honestly, yeah, like that. I feel like that for me, almost all of their like first couple of albums, I think especially like Toxicity and Steel, this album, they're both like any song from that comes on and I'm like, oh, I have to scream sing along this. Like I can't sing, but I have to.
I went and saw System live at Soundwave Festival before the Soundwave went away, and they were headlining, and it was the biggest sing-along I've ever been to. And I've been to like a Peter Coombs concert when I was a kid. That's even more of a sing-along than that. All right, no, back in a second. I'm going to quickly use the loo. Don't let them start without me. I know they're just videoing, so it'll be a little bit, but back in a bit.
No worries. 11 minutes, yeah. At 11 minutes, about 20 Banes went for that planetary. Widowmine took out 3. Planetary took out a few. The SCV started repairing just a few of them to start that off. And really incredible play there from the Clem. But I definitely think we saw Armani work his way back to a good position. And I think he lost so much of that tempo that he'd spent so much time working towards in that moment. So it's a shame for Armani. I would have loved to see Clem push to a bit longer in the game. I think the Mutas, the Burrowed Banes, the Ling Bane run bys, I think there's a lot of things Armani did well. I just think that Bane run by, and then he did a later one which wasn't quite put together as well. And if you don't snap that fourth down, like, it's not a great trade anyway, rolling Banes in. But if you roll straight in, kill most of the SCVs and the command center, it ends up being like you're probably still negative on the cost, but because you kill mining and the base, it becomes really worth it, especially then if you can deny it one more time after that. The Terran gets kind of starved out, but never commit into a planetary unless you can crush it. That is the classic rule. I want to say